Welcome back. Jim along with the Buckeye Boy from the Bozarth Miller Chevrolet Buick Studios, the most trusted name in automobiles. We continue with our Western Slope High School football showdown. We have the 1950 state champion Montrose Indians up against the 2003 Fruita Monument Wildcats. They were the runner-up in 4A that year, lost to Loveland in the state title game at Stoker Stadium, 34-13. Quarterback the Wildcats to the state title game, went on to play tight end at the University of Colorado and also spent some time in the NFL with the Broncos in Tennessee. Riar Geer joins us. Riar, how you doing, man? Great to talk with you today.
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure to take that little trip down memory lane. We talked with your old coach Bill Moore a while back about that 03 football team. That was a really interesting year because for you it was a year that you were the quarterback for the Wildcats, but you ended up getting hurt, and so they had to plug Jake Brown into the quarterback spot for you while you were out with the injury. And between the play of Jake and what you were doing, of course, you came back for the Wildcats to get them to the title game, that the combination of you and Jake Brown able to get the Wildcats to that lofty goal of a state championship game appearance.
Yeah, kind of the two-headed monster approach. And I like to think that we were kind of ahead of the game, because it seemed like a lot of teams started to have that dual quarterback approach after that. And it's kind of just a testament to our team. It was such a great group of seniors, and the fact that Jake Wilson was able to step in and lead the team to, through conference play and get us to the playoffs, and allow me to heal up and then allow us to do what we did in the playoffs was pretty amazing. But definitely a great group of guys that we played with that year. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, Jake Wilson certainly brought a different dynamic. Of course, you were big, physical, running quarterback. You could throw the football, certainly, Riar, but Jake was more shifty. He was definitely two different styles of quarterback play for the Wildcats in that attack that you guys ran.
Yeah, it's another testament to Coach Moore. I think I was playing fullback my freshman year of high school, and he realized I had some talent to play the quarterback position, so he made me transfer, and obviously worked out pretty well for us. And he probably wasn't given a lot of credit for his brilliance as far as play calling and schemes and that type of thing, but he definitely had an eye for talent, and the fact that he saw that Jake had the talent and that I could complement that was pretty good. So it was a testament to Billy Moore on that one.
What did you try to tell Jake during that period of time when you were there on the sidelines? You couldn't play. You're going to be coming back soon. How did you help guide him through that stretch to give you guys that chance for you to come back and for you guys to get to the state title game? What was that? Obviously, that had to be very difficult for you, Riar. You wanted to be out there, you wanted to be playing, but I know that you were an outstanding teammate and were probably there to be a really good sounding board for him.
Yeah, just trying to support him as much as I could and just be a positive influence on the sideline. And, honestly, Jake didn't really need much. He was a heck of a football player, super competitive, and we were competing with each other all the way back to the little league days back in baseball. And so he didn't really need much, but, just as much support I could give him, that's what I tried to do.
Former Fruita Monument Wildcat Riar Geer with us. And we talked about what you did on the offensive side, Riar, but boy, on the defensive side, you wreaked a lot of havoc on that defensive front, didn't you?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I was thinking back to my senior year, and I think I was bigger or just as big as all of our offensive linemen, and had some speed and had some moves to me too. And so I imagine I probably wasn't too fun to tackle for a lot of the smaller defensive players out there, but it was definitely fun for me being one of the bigger people out there getting to carry the football.
But also too you played some on the defensive side as well during that season, and you were able to kind of be an impact from that standpoint as well, playing on the defensive side at times.
Yeah, quarterback and defensive end is quite the combination for sure, but that was fun. We always had such good athletes at that time at Fruita, and it just being able to plug me in at defensive end and just let me wreak havoc on the quarterback, and didn't have to worry about anything else. It was that was certainly a lot of fun, and we're definitely blessed to have such a good team, such good coaches, and it was I look back on that, and that was some of my most fun memories of playing football. We're definitely back in high school.
Riar Geer, former Fruita Monument Wildcat from the 03 team, joining us today on the Jim Davis Show on the team. What was more fun, getting a chance to play some defensive end, go after the quarterback, or or tote the rock and be a focal point on the offensive side? Which was more fun for you back then?
That's a tough call, but it's hard to beat scoring touchdowns. I think that's one of the things you always think of when you're a little kid is running the football or catching touchdowns, throwing touchdowns, whatever it is. And so I would have to go with running the football there.
Riar Geer joining us today on the Jim Davis Show on the team, talking about the 03 Fruita Monument Wildcats. He really had a very talented football team. You mentioned Jake Wilson that played some quarterback along with you when you were injured. Cody Walker was an outstanding linebacker for the Wildcats during that period of time. I mean, you had some really, really talented players during that stretch.
We were certainly blessed. I mean, you look at that senior class, my junior year when we went to that state championship, and we had Sam Safkin and Connor Lewis, Taylor Catt, and obviously Jake Wilson, Nick Keith, Brandon Warnke, Tyler Ryan. I can name a bunch of different guys, but even Derek Thorne, he played at Mesa too. And we were pretty stacked, and so there was a lot of talent going through the Valley at that time. Pretty fun. I mean, you think about the other teams too, who Grand Junction had with Trent Gertman and Tremaine Watson, Central, Jeremy Rosales, and Sherrod Roman, Kyle Rowling, and all those guys. It was a fun time to be playing football and in all sports throughout the Valley. It was definitely good memories for sure.
I was going to mention Sam Safkin's name. I'm glad you brought his name up. Of course, Sam lost his battle with cancer after going to the University of Northern Colorado to play football and wrestle. Just some memories about Sam because he was such a great guy. Man, he was one of my favorite people. He still is one of my favorite people that I've ever met in my whole life. And talk about a guy that could put a smile on anybody's face. He was just, big and goofy and super funny. He was really witty, very smart guy, and just a heck of a competitor, too. I think you probably remember his senior year, he decided to just go out for wrestling. Had never wrestled before and ended up winning a state championship. And so, testament to him and how athletic he was and how smart he was. And, ended up getting a scholarship to the University of Northern Colorado. And just an incredible, incredible guy. Definitely, his time came up way too soon, and that was tough. I remember talking to a lot of the guys when he passed away, and I was really, really sad. And I wasn't able to come back to his funeral. I was playing football at the time, and so that was right before we played Georgia, and it definitely gave me a little bit of extra motivation for that game to play for Sammy for that game, and then really for the rest of the season. So he definitely made a big impact on me, and definitely miss him a lot. Former Fruita Monument Wildcat, member of the 03 state runner-up, Riar Geer joining us. We go back to that playoff run, the win against Greeley West, 14-7, Ralston Valley, an 18-16 victory over them, Riar, and then a 14-13 win over Pueblo South. I mean, you guys won some real nail-biters in the playoffs that year.
Lots of really close games. That 4A was really competitive at that time, and it was difficult on us. We had to travel a lot over to the Eastern Slope, and I think we had that one playoff game against Ralston Valley where we got to play them here, so that was nice. But we had such a strong team that maybe those other teams were more talented than us or better coached or whatever it was, but we had that strong group of seniors, a strong core team, and we weren't going to lose those games. We were going to do whatever it took to win. And I remember playing that Pueblo South game in the snow, and I think we ran the same play probably 20, 30 times in a row, and we were able to come out with a victory there. And so very fun to look back on that and to go as far as we did. And, it definitely exceeded a lot of people's expectations. So it's pretty fun being a Western Slope kid and Western Slope team and going over and beating some of those Eastern Slope guys. That's always the goal. And maybe that's starting to change in today's environment. But I remember back then it was, we always had a chip on our shoulder and wanted to beat those guys on the Eastern Slope, and so I'm glad we were able to beat quite a few of them.
Riar Geer joining us today on the Jim Davis Show on the team, and then the state title game was here against Loveland. A chance to get some payback against Loveland for that state championship game lost back in 2000 for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, though, Riar, Loveland just had a big day. Jeff Byers, who went on to win the gold helmet, went on to play at USC as an offensive lineman. That was just that was a really good football team that Loveland had, and just a tough loss for you guys that day.
Yeah, I mean, you look back on the athletes that they had; they were definitely stacked. And you're right, Jeff Byers was a load. He was a guy that we couldn't really handle. I mean, you think about some of the big offensive linemen that we had up front, and he was just throwing those guys around like they were rag dolls, and it was pretty amazing. It's funny, I got to play with Jeff when I was on the Denver Broncos practice squad. He was on the practice squad with me then too, and he definitely remembered that game and remembered throwing us around and beating us pretty good. So he definitely was talking a little trash to me about that. So it was kind of fun to reminisce with him about that game. But yeah, I mean, they totally outplayed us. They were, on a different level. I think they probably could have won at 5A that year, but that's the type of teams that we wanted to play and wanted to beat. And unfortunately, we couldn't get it done against them. But still cool. We made it to the state championship. We were runner-up, and we can hang our hat on that, I guess. So
absolutely, yeah. The W would have been great, but representing the Western Slope getting to the state title game, that's still one heck of an accomplishment. For you, with the time we have left here, about a minute or so, a favorite memory of that season for you, Riar, a personal memory that will always be with you. What would that be?
It was the team. It was that group of seniors and Sam Safkin, going into the locker room and fighting with those guys, or go out on the field and fighting with those guys. It was just such a special feeling. Every day at practice was super competitive. We wanted to win, and it's just that group of seniors. I'll never forget them and how fun that year was.
Well, Riar, appreciate the time. Of course, loved covering you back in your Wildcat days. Of course, when you were over at CU as well, and the time you spent in the NFL, I appreciate it. And of course, now working over at Timberline Bank, and I tell you, that new building looks really nice. I drive by there a lot. That looks like a really nice building that Timberline Bank is going to have.
We're excited about it. We'll be opened up September 1st, so you guys come see us.
We will do that. Hey, Riar, always a pleasure to catch up with you. I know we see each other once in a while around town. Always good to talk with you. Thanks again for coming on, talking about your time with the 03 Fruita Monument Wildcats. Appreciate it, bud.
Jim, I really appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
You too. Take care. Riar Geer went on to play, of course, at the University of Colorado, played tight end, and spent some time in the NFL with the Broncos and